with trends, I always suggest go towards something that you gravitate towards. So for me, I really loved like the big chunky soles that were really trending last year. They're kind of fading out this year, but I have an inverted body shape. My shoulders are wider than my hips. I'm very tiny on the bottom. So when I add weight to my feet, I balance.
Right.
Welcome to Real Estate for Real People, hosted by Shannon and Tamara Stone. As award-winning real estate professionals, the Stone sisters have spent years helping people navigate the complexities of buying, selling, and investing in real estate. From first-time homebuyers to seasoned investors, Real Estate for Real People is the go-to resource for anyone looking to make smart decisions in the world of real estate. So sit back, relax, and get ready to learn from some of the best in the business.
Hi, welcome back to another episode of Real Estate for Real People. This episode is going to be really good and a lot of fun, so we hope that you will stay with us for the whole episode. Today we are speaking with Kim Appelt. She is a fashion designer. She's a TV personality. You dress some of the stars. You've written a book, which I have here, Style for Everybody. We are so excited to dive into this conversation today, and we are going to learn about dressing for success. We have a lot of followers that are business people, some realtors from across Canada, and just talking about, what is style? How do you create your style? And some of the tips that we can learn from. So Kim, thank you so much for joining us. And yeah, maybe you can tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you get into this?
First of all, thank you so much for having me. I remember when I actually styled you guys forever ago for a shoot a long time ago. I'm in my like Stone Sisters vibe.
I saw that.
Yeah. I have to be on brand, You know what? That was a really fun shoot, by the way. Those pictures were amazing too.
They were. Yes. Thank you.
Okay. So I guess your question was, how did I get into this? Is that where we're starting?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think I've been doing this essentially like since I've been a child, like as long back as I can remember. I have always been styling and restyling. I grew up in Africa, in Botswana. I started with my sister, and I used to dress her like a Barbie and just constantly create outfits. That's legitimately where I started. And then fast forward to university, I wanted to go to fashion. My parents were like, no, you have to go to university. So I did. Got a couple degrees. My minor was in English Lit, which allowed me to actually write the book. So thank you to my parents. It was a good idea. And then in university, my friends were coming over and I would go through my closet and like redo their outfits before we'd go out because I was like, this doesn't work. And I didn't recognize that was something unique that I could see is like body shapes and style. To me, I see bodies in almost like in actual shapes, like triangle, rectangle. And so I instinctively know what you need to balance your body type. And it's been a passion of mine forever. And then anyway, after I got married and had kids, I went and trained in New York and LA, and the rest is kind of history.
It's amazing. And it's been so fun to see your growth. I mean, you were on the runway, on the red carpet, dressing people. And I do remember that shoot that we did, and our photos were fantastic. Thanks to you. You were like, okay, you got to wear this and this. And I'm like, I remember actually having my hair all curled, I think it was. And you came in and you're like, I get what you're doing with the hair. Like, it's good, but if you just do it a little bit less, it will actually help your face shape and everything else. I'm like, are you sure? You're like, just trust me. And it was fantastic. Just those little things that we don't see. I certainly don't see. Like anyway,
yes.
I love that. Those little tips of, when every face shape, every body shape is different. And that's something that you talk about in your book. And I'm going to hold the book up again. So that's Style for Everybody. Fantastic book. It's one of those ones that I was saying to you, it's so easy to read. You sit down and I feel like I'm having a conversation with you, which I love.
That's so good. I love hearing that. Like that was my wish. I literally, like I said, I sat in my backyard and I wrote this. I wrote it in 6 weeks. I was like, I'm going to do a chapter a day. And I just sat there. And I wanted it to be like, I am your friend. I am sitting there with you. I am saying your hair just needs to be a little less curly. Like I want that relationship to be there. So I'm so grateful that you said that.
Well, it was good. One of the things you talk about, and I truly felt like I just had my friend just sitting here, with me kind of going, okay, do this, do that. And you talked about how, going through your closet and getting rid of some of that stuff. And it's funny because after I read that chapter, I walked into my closet and one of the things you talk about is if it doesn't fit, just get rid of it. Like it may not fit, and it's making you not feel good when you walk into your closet and you see stuff that you used to be able to wear and you can't anymore. It makes you kind of, be depressed, or you're just not happy about it. And why have that pressure of then thinking I have to get back down to that size or that look or what have you. So I went through my closet, took out tons of stuff. And it's so funny because my husband actually then did the same. We were both going through our closets and being like, okay, let's get rid of this. Let's get rid of that. And it's liberating. And then it makes room for more.
It is liberating. And like on a totally another level, like everything in the world holds energy, right? Like the table that you're sitting at has a certain vibration, but each of those pieces of clothing kind of retains energy. And so whatever mindset too we were in when you bought it and it's just hung there, it's still kind of holding that, that energy. And so not only does it make you feel good and like declutter, but also on another, like on an energetic level, it is very, very important. And I'm sure you can relate to this, and all the listeners who maybe are in your industry or not, but like when you go into a home and you go to do showing and it's incredibly cluttered, you're like, it's very hard for the buyer to envision themselves in the space. I mean, I don't know your industry, but I'm relating it. I'm assuming, and that's why you guys do home staging. And like, I know that's something that you're really good at.
Yeah,
and,
it's true.
You kind of
it's true.
Uplift the space, and what you're doing is you're clearing out that energy. And so that's the same thing with the wardrobe. You open that, I call it the dragon's lair, but you open that and it's just like, it's overwhelming, on many levels. And it's not fun, and it really holds you back. And my hope when I started my journey as a stylist, I've done many fancy things. I've been on red carpets, I've been to the Oscars, the Emmys, I've been on TV. But my very favorite thing is always getting into closets and helping like each woman kind of uplift themselves. Because if you can open those doors and it's not daunting, and that's the first thing you do in the morning, like imagine your mindset, you change your day, you change the day of everyone you're working with, your husband, your kids. You're no longer stressed out first thing in the morning.
It's so true. It's so true. I never thought of that clothes have energy, but of course they do. They're an emotion. They're, you're right. And also too, it's that feeling of cluttered. And you're exactly right. When you walk into a house that's cluttered, you sort of feel, okay, I got to get out of here. And you're not even knowing, that's what we say to buyers and sellers all the time, is you don't even know why you're feeling that way, but it is the clutter. So it would be exactly the same thing of walking into your closet. It's almost like merchandising it for yourself, though, so you can
totally.
It makes sense.
Yes, and I always say to my clients, like I say to them, get ready, because when we do this, like things in your life do change. Like big things happen, divorces, marriages, babies, like because there's this certain release, that happens with decluttering a home or a closet, and I don't know the actual mechanics, the energetic mechanics behind it, but somehow it really allows you to move forward. So I always say to people, like, if you are wanting something to happen in your life, get in your closet and start clearing that out,
And you also say, I think to start a closet is to take everything out of your closet. Like your closet's empty and
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
you have to, like, that's a big tip. You have to be mentally prepared. You can do it in sections, but you grab it all. You cannot go through piece by piece because it's sort of disruptive. Like, this is just my philosophy. I take everything out of a client's and I put it usually on their bed. And then I usually have an assistant there with me, or you can have a friend if you're doing it yourself. I always suggest like velvet hangers. Those plastic ones are like the worst, not only for the environment, but like just horrid on clothes. And buy some that are like inspire you. Like they can be hot pink or turquoise or whatever. Like you want to open that closet door and you want to like have excitement. But we put each piece in one by one. And I'm like, what about this? And they're like, well, that's my campfire sweatshirt. Okay, when's the last time you went to a campfire? Well, about 4 years ago, but just in case I do. I'm like, probably you won't. You'll choose something new, so everyone initially has resistance too. And that's okay. And that's an important thing to remember. It's okay to feel resistance. Sometimes I go through a closet, then after we make a list and go shopping, then the second round, they're like, I would never wear any of these things because now they've got new pieces that are much more suited.
And I think that's the thing. I think you just nailed it when you said you'd rather wear something that's new, that's going to make you feel better. And, I alternate my clothes. I empty my closet in the summer and the winter and switch seasons. So I just recently did that. And after reading your book, went through and got rid of a ton of stuff. And, some of those things I was holding on to was, well, I wear this stuff at Big White when we're skiing. Once in a while, sitting around the cabin, I might wear this shirt. And I'm like, no, I'm going to get rid of that shirt because I'll probably want one that's a newer style if I do that. But there's so many other things. I haven't worn it in probably 3 winters. So why am I hanging on to it?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like 3 winters is too long. I usually say 1 season.
Mm.
So even for myself this summer, there were pieces and granted we're traveling and sometimes there's specific pieces, but this summer I was like, I didn't wear any of these dresses. I was living in Palm Beach and I had bought a bunch of dresses that are very Palm Beachy, but they're not very Toronto.
Right.
And I still love them. And so some of them I kept and put them, in my studio. But again, even for me, 1 season, I'm like, okay, I'll bring them back one more time.
Yeah.
And if I just don't gravitate, but your style changes, right? Your body changes, your style changes. The things that you're doing change.
Yeah.
So that's all part of it. But the most important thing I can stress with doing that, clearing out your closet and buying new pieces, is try to buy the best quality that you can.
Mm-hmm.
So I just got off a call with one of my clients and she was just saying, I just have all this stuff and it's very low quality. And she used to be a big consumer because she's on TV and she does, she's on Instagram and Reels and whatever. And so she needed a constant change of pieces. But I was like, let's not do that. Let's shift our perspective to these pieces of quality and how can you mix them?
Yes.
So,
and that makes such a difference.
It's just a lot of waste. Clothing is the largest, I think, amount of environmental waste. I can't remember what the exact numbers are. I actually looked it up and put it in the book.
Yeah, I read that part. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember exactly, but it is such a beautiful thing. I have many luxury consignment stores here where I live. Mm-hmm. For any of the listeners, mine and yours in Vancouver is also in Toronto. So if you have pieces in your closet that are luxury, maybe it's a purse and you haven't worn it, but you don't know what to do with it because it's expensive. You can sell it there and buy a new piece. Mm-hmm. Even myself, I think I get gifted a lot of clothing. So I brought pieces in and then I walked out with a new pair of Fendi boots that had never been worn, but I basically just traded.
Yes. I love that. Yeah. And in Kelowna here, we do have a few good consignment stores, not the same as mine and yours. That's a great one. And there's a few other ones in Vancouver and of course in Toronto, but we do have a few, and Vancouver's close. So you could go and bring your stuff down to those ones.
Totally.
So that's easy too.
Or anyway, you can also, the ones locally in your area, some of them have gems. And mm-hmm. So, you want a high quality blazer, but maybe you roll in there and maybe someone, has never worn theirs. They bought it, they didn't wear it, and now it's gorgeous. So when you're making your list and thinking about what you need to buy to those basics, definitely check out the consignment stores in your area. If you want to buy something of quality, but maybe don't want to spend so much.
Yeah, I love that. Something else you talked about and I loved it. And I think I'm going to try to find it. Actually, I'm going to find it in the book because I loved how you said it. So one of the things you said, there are no right or wrong choices when it comes to style. It's all about finding that magic inside you, leaning into the things that make you happy. And I think something I loved it. I actually highlighted it. So before this, I was just like, I love this.
I love it.
Because I think that's something, you wonder and think, well, should I be going on with the trend? The trend is whatever the trend is, not.
Let's go with red. Right now, red is coming in.
Right.
Purple.
And maybe you hate red, but you're like, I better wear it because it's the trend. And should I do it? And I just love that it's no, be true to who you are. And, lots of times people say, well, especially as we get to, a little bit older and it's kind of okay, I can't, you don't really know where you fit. You're not young anymore, so you can't wear what the 20-year-olds are wearing. And, you don't want to wear something that's older too, because you're not quite there. You still want to be stylish, but where is that style and how do you find it? So I guess that's the question I ask you. Where do you start?
That's very true. And this is what's key. This book, again, is my mantra, since the beginning, has always been the basics of style. It is my favorite place to gravitate towards. We think back to the 90s, Calvin Klein. Remember, a nice t-shirt and pair of jeans, they were nice, mom jeans.
Yes.
But where do you start? This book will definitely help you. There's a few ways to do that. And there is an in-between at our age, post kids and work and trying to. So number one, the first question, bringing in the trends. if you would like to add some trends in, like, so we'll just go with red because it's obvious and easy, but like you could add that in by like a purse and a pair of shoes. And so maybe you've got a classic white blazer on, a tank, a really cool pair of jeans, and then maybe you put on a red belt and finish it with like a red purse or red shoes. Like that's a way to incorporate it. It's not doesn't have to be necessarily too expensive. Again, those kind of trendy pieces, you don't have to spend as much.
Right.
So that's how you work with the trends. With trends, I always suggest go towards something that you gravitate towards. So for me, I really loved the lug, like the big chunky soles that were really trending last year. They're kind of fading out this year, but I have an inverted body body shape. My shoulders are wider than my hips. I'm very tiny on the bottom. So when I add weight to my feet, I balance.
Right.
And so that's a trend that I really gravitated towards for a few reasons. And you can think about those too. For me, I need the weight on the bottom.
Right.
I look terrible in ballet flats. Like it is not a look for me because I just go like this.
Okay.
So to answer the question about the trends, think about your body and think about your budget, think about your personal style.
Right.
And so I address all those things in the book, like how to do that. I'll give a quick synopsis. So if you are telling me like I'm looking for my personal style, so I would say to you, if you're my client, tell me about you as a child. Like what is the essence of you? Like did you wear Mary Janes and dresses? Were you more of a tomboy? Did you wear jeans and like t-shirts? Like who were you as a child?
Great question. I love that. Right. Okay. Well, I was a tomboy. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So the answer to that then is, and I don't know if that still reigns true for you, but most likely a lot of people, that essence of kind of who they were as a child, obviously you're not dressing yourself, but you're going to start choosing at like 5 or 6 the pieces that you want to wear, even though your mom or dad has bought a bunch of things. So probably to you, you would like that kind of look. So like more the loafers, like the oversized blazer, the wide leg pants, like that to me would be the essence of you. And so that is more of like a casual classic style.
Yes.
that I would guess. I haven't seen you in a while, but
totally. No, you've nailed it. That's exactly it. So
yeah. So that's kind of how it works. Like for me as a kid, I grew up in Botswana. I was always in like dresses and clogs and tights. I mean, I was like, it was sweltering heat and I was like totally dressed up. If I wore jeans, I thought that no one could tell that I was a girl. Like that was just like my thing.
Funny. So
that is still who I am. Like if you look at my Instagram or anything, I gravitate towards that. So that's step one. It's one way to think of your style. The next thing you have to incorporate is your lifestyle. So like, let's say you're someone who always dressed up like a princess, but now you have 4 children.
Right.
Well, you can't be it's not feasible to be toddling around in like high heels but you can still incorporate that essence of femininity into your look. So like right now, sling back, pointed flats are trending.
Right.
Those are very feminine.
Yes.
So you could wear those with a pair of like jogger denim. I just wrote an article for People magazine on denim joggers. I was like, this is a thing. I had to like go look it back up, but so you can incorporate the essence of yourself. So you just take it back to that and then incorporate those pieces. Hopefully that gives enough guidance to people. And then the third step is it's really important to incorporate all 3 because you also need to think about your body type. So again, do you know what your body type is?
I don't know. I'm probably equal in my shoulders and my hips. I'm hippie, I think.
I feel like you're an hourglass.
Yeah.
So you can really wear anything.
Oh.
So like I'll go back to myself. Like it's more challenging for me to wear a pair of pointed sling back ballet flats because I am so top heavy. Like I need wide leg pants and like heavier shoes on the bottom to balance my body.
Right.
So even though I have to look for the feminine trend and style somewhere else. So
right.
That could be like, big skirts are in, it could be that or
right.
whatever it is. So there's a lot of things to think about and you can see how it becomes challenging.
But also nice because then when you go shopping, like I did notice after reading your book, I kind of figured out, okay, because I do think I'm hourglass or, but my hips are always something that bugs me. So I'll just, throw that out there. So knowing that, shopping makes it actually easier because you go in and you're like, yeah, no, this will work for me. So it's faster.
It's way faster. And actually there's a chart in this book that was like my nemesis because I'm an artist and I don't think in charts, or like anytime anyone sends me like anything I have one client that sent me everything, all the shot lists in a spreadsheet. I was like, but I did do a chart. My editor made me do a chart and she was right because people always thank me for it. It was very challenging for me to wrap my head around. But that chart you can go there and you can say, okay, this is my body type. I'm hourglass. I'm a classic style. And you can actually read across and it will tell you. But yes, it makes things a lot faster. Once you understand those 3 basic things, like the book is about basics and the book itself in its essence is very basic. Mm-hmm. So what is your body type? What is your personal style? And do you have the basics? The basics are like building blocks. Right. It's like without wardrobe basics, it's like trying to finish a house that doesn't have foundation.
So, what would be the top, say, 5 basics that everybody should have? Or is there 5? I don't know.
A blazer. Mm-hmm. A blazer. Number 1. I think blazers are so multi-purpose. I mean, whether you live in like a boho beach town, you can still get a blazer that works for your environment and for your body type. So I talk about this in the book. Like you can get a deconstructed linen blazer that's very kind of edges towards, a beach environment, mm-hmm. but still you can throw that on with a pair of shorts. You can throw it on over a slip dress. You can throw it on with jeans, with pants. It's just so necessary. And when I go into people's closets, I was just in a client. I was like, where's your white blazer? And she was like, I don't have a white blazer. I'm like, why? Like, she's a fashionista. Like, she is a CEO. She's about to go public. She's amazing. And I'm like, okay, so and she really is a fashion person.
Interesting. Just that you don't pick up on those things. Yeah, blazer, for sure.
Blazer. I love a good pair of loafers. So you can move that to whatever it is to you. Those could be ballet flats. They could be booties. They could be, if you're not, let's say you're a really casual person. Yeah. And you would never wear loafers, maybe a really clean pair of runners.
Right.
Yes. So, Zara has amazing ones that are just like plain white, plain black. If you want to spend a little bit more, YSL has a very good price point for that luxury bracket. Yes. And they are incredibly versatile. Those are important. A plain white blouse. And again, like if you're a blonde and maybe white's not your thing, maybe it's a pale pink blouse. Like you can adapt that to you. If a black blazer is not good for you, you could do navy.
Right.
So you just kind of shift it to your color palette. But those are the building blocks. Like you need a pair of jeans with no rips, like a classic pair of jeans that fit your body really well. A pair of non-scuffed shoes, ballet flats, loafers, a blazer for sure. Yes. I mean, I probably have like 10 blazers. And they all vary in cut and material and style. And it's a great piece to put on to go to anything. Yes. Whether it's a meeting, your kid's school, an event. Like I'll throw a blazer over my shoulders with, shorts and a tank and a pair of heels and it looks fabulous, mm-hmm. So that's probably my number 1, like go-to and suggestion. The other thing I suggest, classic pieces of jewelry. I talk about in the book, like a plain, like I love a tennis necklace. I have one on, but it doesn't have to be. You can find like beautiful ones. Swarovski does some that are cubic zirconia. You can, there's put on your wish list. There's lab diamonds, whatever. Yes. But I love just that and a pair of like, stud earrings, whatever you like. But I love like a classic clear like stone. So yes. Diamond or whatever. Right. It's just an easy look. Delicate jewelry layered, you're never going to go wrong. If you're a big jewelry person, then those are your pieces that you use to accessorize.
Right. Yeah, makes sense. Totally makes sense. Yeah. So interesting, all the different things. So if you were to say jeans, if we can talk about that for just a quick second, because I know that I'm one of those people that gets into a style when the style's going out. Finally, it takes me that long to be like, okay, I'm in. I jump into the style and people are like, well, it's gone now. Like you're way too late. So the jeans that are now the wide legged skinnies out, is it completely out?
No, skinnies are in. Like I write about trends all the time. Like I am lucky enough to give my expert opinion to many different publications. And you know what? Skinny is not out. Skinny is totally still in. Imagine those with like a pair of combat boots, an oversized blazer, a classic silk tank, like gorgeous.
Yeah.
It just depends on how you balance them.
Right.
I don't think they'll ever really go out because they're very useful. They're a very useful piece. I mean, if you want to be trendy, sure, the wide leg, like I have a pair of mother denims, fits my body the best. They are wide leg and they are stunning. But again, my body type suits that.
Right.
So for me, it really works. I'm not a huge trend person. And I think if you want to incorporate the trends, I don't think denim, like you can, like I have big cargo oversized denim, you know, that I wear sometimes, but in general, like I don't really follow that. Like even
I love
as a
that.
stylist.
Yeah, I love that. So
Yeah.
you more follow what works with your body type, and you're going back to, you know, your own style that you gravitate towards and that sort of thing.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah.
I mean, if you have an apple body shape or you're very heavy on the top and you're wearing these little skinny jeans because it's trending, well, you're just going to look like a Q-tip. You know what I mean? Like You're just way too top heavy. And like, I can say that because that's me. But, you know, but again, if you love skinny jeans and you're top heavy, just balance it. I wear a heavier boot because I still wear them sometimes. And I wear a longer sweater, like a tunic.
Right.
So you're kind of playing around with proportions. Here's my other tip with that. If you go to get ready in your mirror, and let's say you're going to an event, a broker event or whatever, It's a work thing, and you're trying on a few things and it doesn't feel right, it's because of the balance. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, those moments where you're like, I'm late, you rush home, you're like, crap, you're trying to put something on and you look and you're like, why isn't this right? You know? So if it's the skirt, just switch one piece. Like, let's say so start with your anchor piece. If you're like, I really want to wear this blazer or I really want to wear these shoes, then stick to that piece and then swap the other ones out.
Right.
So I even did that with myself the other night, and I'm a professional. Like, I put on this skirt and I really wanted to wear this skirt and I just had to keep switching. I was like, this does not work. And I just kept swapping my shoes and my top until I found the combo.
Right. Interesting. You're right. It often is that balance. It totally makes sense. So
yes. And everyone's like that. They're like, I want to wear this and it doesn't work. My other like tip is I think less is more. And there's some people that are more is more, and I love them. So like Iris Appelt, like she big glasses and big, like that. If that's your personality, then more is more.
Yes.
But in general, if you've got big hoop earrings on and multi-layered necklaces and many rings and you're decked, and it's just a lot going on.
Yes.
And so I say just try to focus on like one thing. If you want to wear all your strands of jewels, maybe just put in the studs, you know, tie your hair back in a little bun. Still all very cool. But I think the take home is it's about balance.
Right. Yeah. I love that. That is so amazing. Okay. So quickly, because I've taken up a lot of your time, way more than I had said originally. So I'm so sorry, but I love this conversation.
No,
and this
topic. I'm happy. I'm having
good.
fun.
Okay, good. Well, just one more question. If people want to find ideas for style and that sort of thing, you do mention, I think, Pinterest maybe in your book, but what are some of the places people should go to look to find, information on style?
My new favorite, and even when I was writing this, it's really interesting because it's always changing. Yeah. I do love Instagram still. I mean, I think Instagram is currently king.
Yes.
I find people that I like their style. So if you guys, if you want style tips and tricks, you can follow someone like me. I also post things that are trendy and you can take a look at that and pull it for yourself. I love Pinterest, actually. I have a Pinterest page and I post things up there all the time. And you just Google like white jeans outfit. And Pinterest is much more of a visual search engine than Google.
Okay.
And they're really like, they're really coming back up. Like my daughter, Aspen, she was looking to style her university room and she was looking on Pinterest and I was like, you're looking on Pinterest? This was 2 years ago. And then I looked, I had a Pinterest page built by my assistant at the time. And I was like, oh my gosh, I have 100,000 views a month on my Pinterest. And I'm not like
utilizing it.
Platform.
Yeah.
So then I went and met with them in their head office and I saw everything they were doing, and they want to be they are the number one visual search engine. And And it's getting a lot better because before on Pinterest, you couldn't Google like white blazer and have links to the product, but now you can have links.
Okay. Oh, I love that. Okay. I'm going to be going on Pinterest. Okay. And of course,
Pinterest is amazing.
Yeah. And of course, following you because I love all your tips and everything.
Yeah.
So
my Pinterest is like, I just put up things that like inspire me. And like, it's kind of, if you look at someone's Pinterest, it should really be a collective of who they are.
Yeah.
Like I would be able to look at your Pinterest and be like, oh, that's who, that's just it. It should be a really fun thing, and you should use it to inspire yourself and use it to inspire others. Mm-hmm. And if you're shy, you can lock your boards.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So before we sign off and let you go, any other tips or anything quickly that we've missed? I think we've covered a lot, and everything else, I think, again, going back to getting the book, but anything quickly that we may have missed?
I think my goal for this book was to just feel like everyone who didn't have access to me can have that, mm-hmm. And have those. My goal was to be here for you and everyone else and try and keep it really simple, really light, and really positive. And so if I could say one thing to everyone is just like, don't be hard on yourself. Like, you are all an expert in different fields, and not for women or men to be hard on themselves for not knowing this intuitively. So just the most important thing is that you give yourself a break and you take a breath, and have fun. It's just fashion. It's just, you know what I mean? This is not life or death. But it is really important to feel comfortable. Mm-hmm. And so my take home is that, like, don't take yourself too seriously and try to be thoughtful in what you buy. And have fun with it and try to lift up others around you. When you see someone with something that looks good, tell them, mm-hmm. Because those little, nuggets of energy are very important, and that can make someone's day. And so my goal is trying to make everyone's day and help everyone feel good.
Oh, I love that. Well, you certainly did for us. So thank you so much. Before we finish off, where can everybody find you? So, where follow your Instagram?
Instagram. Yeah. If you Google my name, I'm everywhere currently, which is Kim Appelt. Instagram, everything on my handles are mostly Style by Kim, mm-hmm. XO. And so I think Instagram is Style by Kim XO. My Pinterest, I think, is Style by Kim XO. The book is everywhere. It's like on Amazon and Target, Barnes & Noble in the US, Chapters, and it's in the fashion section. Sometimes it's on display tables. But it makes a great gift. It's very good looking, which is nice. I have to say, I wasn't in charge of that part. It's the benefit of being able to be blessed to do a book with someone like Penguin Random House. It's absolutely beautiful, and I'm so happy with it. And so it looks cute on someone's like counter or whatever. So it's a great gift, a great hostess gift.
Yeah.
Christmas gift.
It is. You're right. Yeah, it would be a perfect Christmas gift. Yeah. So there we go. That's it there.
I know.
Kim, thank you so much for doing this and taking time out of your busy schedule and to meet with us all. I think we've all learned something amazing. And I think it's great for us. Your fashion does make a difference. It makes you feel better, which then again, you're heading into each day a little bit better and happier. So Thank you again so much for your time. We really appreciate it.
Thank you. Great questions. Really fun conversation. I appreciate. Thank you for thinking of me. And we will talk later.
Sounds good. Thank you so much.
Okay. Yeah. Bye.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Real Estate for Real People. If you want to reach out to the Stone Sisters, visit www.stonesisters.com. This podcast was produced by Podigy Podcasts. See you next time.